Today I'm going to be showing you how to do wild or wake-induced lucid dreams or wake-initiated lucid dreams, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be showing you guys the full steps that you need to do. Hey guys, welcome back to Tipharot. It's me Matt here, and today I'm showing you guys wild. Now this has been much requested and I'm glad to be finally making a video on the subject. I will give a disclaimer though, and that is the fact that I think wild is a very hard method to teach because it is one of those methods that gets lost in translation. If you misunderstand what you're doing, then you're just going to do it wrong and you're not going to succeed. And I think it's very, very hard to describe it in such a way that someone who has never done wild will understand it. And I say this from my own personal experience. I looked at and watched and read all these wild guides time and time again when I was first starting to lucid dream. And I tried them out over and over and over, and I never had any success. When I finally learned how to do wild, I did it by complete accident when I was just trying to do something else. And so I realised that, these instructions I was given elsewhere didn't really match up to what I actually experienced and how I actually got into wild. So I'm actually going to explain two ways of performing wild. The first method is the traditional method, in which you enter sleep paralysis and then you perform wild from there. Now this method actually doesn't work that well for me because I find it very hard to relax enough to get into sleep paralysis while I'm awake. And so for me this isn't ideal, and I use the second method that I will teach. So the first way of performing wild is you relax completely, you let your body completely relax and not move until you find yourself in sleep paralysis. You'll know because you feel your body paralyzed, and at that point what you do is you focus on the images behind your closed eyes and you just watch them for a while, and you'll find they start to, images start to pop up in your imagination and they start to actually be visible to you, and eventually after some time it'll feel almost as if you're getting sucked into the images, and at that point you can actually enter into a dream. So just watch those images, don't focus too intently on them, just kind of let them appear and let them disappear and so on, and don't get too excited when one starts to become real because it might disappear and another image might form and so on. Just kind of watch it happening until you feel like you're in a dream, and then try to interact with the dream in some way. Now the way that I do things is I skip this sleep paralysis step. So if you actually are in sleep paralysis, then you will enter into a lucid dream a bit quicker because you're already kind of half asleep. Your body is already asleep, you just need to get your mind into the dream. However, not everyone wants to experience sleep paralysis, and for a lot of people like myself, it's very, very hard to do because if you have restless legs like me and so on, then when you're in bed you can't really stay still for long enough to do it. So what do you do instead? Well, you basically just skip that step. You focus in behind your eyes and what's going on behind your eyes. What you might notice is when you close your eyes, you might see some very, very faint colours kind of moving. Not everyone sees this, but you might see some faint colours kind of rotating around. And you might kind of just see the blackness of your eyes with maybe a faint hint of some colour. And just kind of watch that. Just let your mind wander a bit. You can think about all sorts of things. You can think about your day. You can think about what you might do in the dream when you get in. Whatever you want to do, just think about something, let your mind wander a bit, and watch the images. And if there are no images, just watch the back of your eyes and just keep thinking. Now at this point, try not to fall asleep, but also don't worry so much about trying to keep your mind alert and awake. Just kind of be relaxed, but thinking and active at the same time in your mind. And you'll notice after some time that you do start to imagine things. You start to imagine, images or whatever, or scenes. And when you first do this, they might not be visual. You might not actually see something behind your eyes. You might just kind of be thinking about it. Like if I told you now to imagine a church, then you can kind of picture the church, but you don't, if you close your eyes now and you picture the church, you don't necessarily actually see it in front of your eyes, but you kind of have the image in your mind, if that makes sense. So there is a distinction. So the first images that you get are kind of going to be more in your mind like that. But after a while of doing this, you're going to notice they start to kind of appear in front of your eyes, as if you're actually seeing them. And once that happens, I just want you to kind of let your mind wander still and allow those images to appear. In a previous video, in my How to Lucid Dream Tonight video, I actually say to focus on the images, but I don't like that advice because if you focus too intently on one particular image, it will just kind of disappear and it won't really draw you into it. So what I suggest is rather than focusing on the image, just focus on the process of kind of noticing the images. Notice them rather than staring at them, basically. Notice the image. If it appears and gets more clear, cool. If it disappears, that's also cool. Just notice it happening. Don't try to rush the process or anything. Eventually, after some time, these images will get more vivid and more real, and it will start to feel like you're being drawn into them. When that happens, wait and just keep noticing it, and you'll get to a point where it almost feels like you're actually inside this place. Like you were looking at an image of a staircase, and now it feels almost like you're standing on a staircase. Well, at this point, what I suggest doing is involving your senses. The way that I like to do this is with touch. I like to reach out and touch something in the scene. And as I touch something, it feels more and more real, but it will also feel a bit like you're still in your body. This is a distinction between doing it the first way with sleep paralysis and this way. When you do it with sleep paralysis and you start to enter into the dream scene, the minute that you're there, you're in that dream. Your body was already paralysed in bed, so you're in that dream. When you do it the way that I like to do it, without sleep paralysis, you'll find that because you haven't entered sleep paralysis, you are still in control of your body in bed initially. So you might find that if you act too quickly in the dream, you just move your real body and snap out of it. So what I suggest doing is just moving for touch, because for some reason it seems like your hands appear in the dream first, like your hands paralysed first for some reason or something. And so try and touch something in the dream. And if you need to, then just imagine the sensation of touch rather than moving your hands. That might be more, secure because you're less likely to move your real hands. So just imagine the sensation of touch at first if you like. And as you do that, you should feel it start to solidify and become more real. And then at some point you should start to feel as if your actual hands are touching it. And at that point, if you can move your actual hands in the dream, technically your dream hands, but it feels like your actual hands that you're moving, then at that point, you can interact with the dream freely. And so just keep doing that with your hands. Don't move your legs just yet. Keep doing that with your hands for a bit until you feel the dream solidify a little bit more. And then at that point, I want you to try and walk. Try and walk around the dream. And if you can move your legs and your arms both in the dream, and you're walking around and so on, then you're in the dream fully. And at that point, your body is, paralysed in bed, and you don't have to worry about your body. That's okay. You can enjoy your dream. Anyway, thank you guys for watching my wild tutorial. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to subscribe for more, and if you want to keep watching, check out the videos linked on screen. Thanks for watching guys, take care.